Hello, welcome once again to this particular session of this workshop. So in today's workshop, what we'll be looking at is we'll be looking at our drawing aids. Drawing aids. So what do we mean by drawing aids? So drawing aids are the parts in AutoCAD that helps you to achieve accuracy with your drawings. It helps you to achieve lots of accuracy with your drawings. For instance, now you want to draw a line and you want the line to be straight. So use the right drawing aid. You want to draw the right type. You want to move and you want your movement to be on a straight line. You need to use the right drawing aid. So let's get started. All right, so we'll be looking at the drawing aid. Our drawing aid in AutoCAD is located at the bottom right-hand corner of the interface. The bottom right-hand corner of the interface, this region where you see model, So that's where we have our drawing aids. So they are just appearing there. They are arranged there like a button. So now you could see that some of them are on blue. The ones on blue are just like they are activated. When you see them on blue, what it does signify is that the button has been activated. So you can decide to off them, put them on off. When you remove the blue, you want to on it, put it on, click on it again, then it appears in blue. So the blue means that it's been activated. So this region is where we have our drawing aids. And what does drawing aid means? Drawing aid, just as the word implies aid, they help us to achieve accuracy with our drawings. That's what they do. So it's just about using the right drawing aid to achieve whatsoever results that you would like to achieve. All right. So now let's go to the first drawing aid here. The first drawing aid, by clicking on the button, now it activates it. You can see it has light up. It lights up in blue. That means that it has been activated. So once I put it on, you will see it's called grid. It's called grid. So grid mode. So what it does is that it brings out this kind of lines, vertical and horizontal line on the screen that makes it look like more like a graph. That makes it look like a graph. Okay. All right. So when you press the button again, it goes off. You on it. So you can either decide to use it or don't use it. But most cases, most people don't use the grid. So I'm going to leave that. Okay, so now we have a lot of buttons here on the drawing aid. So I'm not going to talk about every one of it. I'm going to be talking about the important ones, those ones that you can't do without. So those are the ones I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about auto. I'm going to talk about polar tracking. I'm going to talk about object snap and a few others. So those are the ones that you can do without it, whatever you are doing with AutoCAD. So I'm going to jump straight to auto mode. Auto mode is so important. Your auto mode in AutoCAD, it's so important. You can't do without it. So now what does auto mode, what does it do? What it does is that it enables you to know from the name auto mode. Auto is from orthographic. When you talk about orthographic, you're talking about vertical, you're talking about horizontal. So auto mode, vertical, horizontal mode. So I'm going to click on it to activate it. Once it's activated, then I click on my line, for instance. I pick my line, for instance. Now you can see that while I'm trying to draw a line, but my line can only have vertical and horizontal movements. Now, this is because auto mode has been activated. So anytime I want to draw an inclined line, I'll make sure that auto mode is deactivated. So once I deactivate auto mode, then I'm free to move at any angle. But once auto mode is activated, my movements are constrained to vertical or horizontal. So sometimes you need to draw a perfect straight line. So now if auto mode is off and I'm trying to draw an horizontal line, now I'm trying to use my eye judgment to see if this is perfectly horizontal or not. I will definitely make a mistake. I will definitely make an error. So this is not the ideal way to do it. All you need to do is go and put on auto mode. Once auto mode is on, so your line will be constrained to only vertical or horizontal. As I said once again, you want to take this off, make sure you off auto mode. So that's just it. So that's what auto mode does. Very, very important. Now, sometimes also, you might want to use auto mode while using your modifying tool. For instance, now I have an arrow drawn. I have an arrow drawn. Now I want to move, I want to make a copy. I want to make a copy of this arrow. So I select copy. I'm trying to copy this. Now, okay, now I'm trying to copy, but what I want to achieve is I want to copy it on the same horizontal level as the initial one. Now you can see here I have a free movement, but let's assume I want to copy it on the same horizontal as the initial one. I will just put on my auto mode. So by putting on the auto mode, now it constrains the movement to only vertical and horizontal. So now you can see, now I can only copy vertically or horizontally. The reason is because my auto mode is activated. So I want to be able to copy at any position. I will deactivate auto mode. Now that will give me more freedom to move anywhere. But once I activate auto mode, my movement will be constrained only vertical and horizontal. So that's it about auto mode. So that's all about auto mode. So auto mode is just for vertical and horizontal motion. All right, good. Another very important one, very, very important for accuracy, drawing aid. The aid aspect of drawing aid is just like help, drawing help. It helps you to achieve accuracy. Now, this is very important, is called object snap. Object snap. Now, object means whatever you have drawn. Then snap there aspect means that it's locating or is jumping to a particular location on your object. That's just what object snap means. So now let's assume, for instance, I'm going to draw different objects. I've drawn a rectangle, I've drawn a line, I've drawn a circle. Okay, so I've just drawn this object. Then I want to use object snap to locate specific regions of my object. Okay, so I have a rectangle, I have a triangle, a circle, and a line. So now by activating object snap is the icon in that looks more like a rectangle. Yeah, so by clicking to activate object snap, now you can see, now I've not just activated it, but I need to pick another object, for instance, a line. Now, okay, all right, so now you can see some signs, some green signs coming up, some green signs coming up. Now, this sign are the snap points. Are the snap points. So it can snap to the center of the circle. It can snap to the end point of a circle, to the middle point of a circle. So now, depending on my interest, I can snap to anywhere I want. So I want you to notice the different snap points that we have. Now, it can locate the center of a circle accurately. For instance, now I want to draw a line starting from the center of this circle. So by using my object snap, I can locate the center point of the circle. Let's assume I want to locate the middle point of this object. Now, because of my object snap is on, it can help me to accurately locate the middle point without even having to do any measurement. I can locate the middle point. I can locate the end point. I can locate intersection. Now, look at the sign intersection. You can see they have different signs. End point is rectangle, middle point is triangle. Okay, then this is intersection, like a cross. That's an intersection. So now the essence of this is that my object snap helps me to locate particular points on my object accurately. So if I wasn't using the object snap, and I probably want to draw this line to meet this rectangle at this edge. Now, if I use it based on my high judgment, I might be getting a wrong result. So now, how do I know I'm getting a wrong result? I'm going to zoom this region to make it bigger, to magnify it, and you could see that the line is not actually touching this edge because I have not used the object snap. So now, a better way for me to have done this is to use my object snap to locate the points accurately. So I'm going to activate object snap. So object snap helps me to locate the endpoint of this line accurately and also to locate that endpoint accurately. So once you see the sign, it means that your click is going to jump to that point. That's just what the sign means. So once you see the sign, you see an endpoint, you see a middle point, you see a center point. It means that clicking at that point is going to jump to the specific location where you have the sign. So that can help also achieve accuracy. Accuracy is very important when you are doing a drawing, you are doing a building. You need to be very accurate. You need to use your auto rightly. You need to be able to use your object snap rightly. You are doing a machine drawing. You are doing electrical drawing. You want to be sure that your lines are meeting as at when expected. No, you don't want there to be error in that aspect. So just make sure that you are using your object snap. All right, so I'm going to pan away. I'm going to draw a different object. Draw a circle. Now, okay. So now you will observe that there's an arrow beside object snap. There's an arrow beside it. Now, what this arrow means that you can actually do some settings. Now, when I pull up my menu here with the arrow, now I can see that there are some options here. Now, some of them are tick endpoints. Now, the ones that are tick are the ones that are activated with object snap. So endpoint is activated, middle point is activated, center point, intersection. So these are the very important ones they are activated. But sometimes I need some of these other options. So you can just activate them. For instance, now I want to use nearest. Now just activate nearest. Then nearest is activated. Now what nearest does, it's like it helps me to locate circumference. It helps me to locate a point or on the boundary of an object. It helps me to locate any point accurately on the boundary of an object. Okay. Now, by using nearest, I'm sure that this line is actually touching the boundary. I can zoom that region to observe. Okay, yeah. So now you can see that accurately the line is touching the boundary of this object. So if I had not used nearest, for instance, and I want to achieve the same results with my high judgment, okay, I'm trying to achieve the same result with my high judgment. Okay, now yeah, you can see that it appears as if the line is touching the object, but when I zoom, you can see there's an error here. So that's an error. I want to zoom this region too. Oh, there's another error here. But the ones I use nearest on object snap for, it's very accurate. So now you want to be sure that to achieve accuracy, you want to use the right drawing aid. You want to use the right drawing aid. So make sure that you activate the particular setting that you need. Now, one thing that is very important is that it's not advisable for you to activate all of the settings. That's not advisable. The reason being that activating all will cause like something like a conflict. Now, two or three drawing aid might want to work at the same time, so thereby making you to make errors. So you don't want that. So you just pick the important ones that you know that okay, endpoint, middle point that you use often. Then anytime you need any of these, use them. Once you are done, take them off so that you don't make it doesn't lead you to make error. So that was our drawing aid. The important ones are object snap. Object snap helps you to jump to locate specific point on the object accurately. Now, another very important drawing aid is the polar tracking. So let me take some few minutes and talk about the polar tracking. From the name polar has to do with angles, tracking. So now we are tracking specific angles. That's just what polar tracking means. It helps you to track specific angles. Now, looking at it, you see that there's an arrow beside it, an arrow beside polar tracking. So now you can, so what this means is that you can track every five intervals. Now here you can see 5, 10, 15, 20. That's five intervals. You can track 10 intervals, 10, 20, 30, 40. You can track 15 intervals, 15, no, you can track these angles. That's what it means. Now these are the angles you can track. You can track every five degree. You want to be able to track every five degree. Now, when you're at angle 5, you're at angle 10, 15. Now, in this case, every 30 degrees, 30, 60, 90, you can say the intervals is 30. So now you can track, these are standard angles that you can track. But there's a way you can also track, some other odd angles. You want to track angle 17, angle 34. You want to track these angles. By going to this tracking setting, you'll be able to track such angles. Now, let's assume, for instance, now I want to be able to track every 15 degrees. So I'm going to activate this, and make sure that my polar tracking is on. So now when I select my line, now you can see this green hidden line, kind of a broken line that is appearing on my screen. Those are tracking lines. So this tracking line is going to be appearing every 30 interval. Now at 0, I can see it. All right, so I try to move around. Okay, when I get to 15 degrees, I can see the tracking line again. 30 degrees, 45, 60, 90. So those tracking lines will continue to appear every 30 degrees. every 30 degrees. Okay, is it 30 or 15? Every 15 degrees, yes. So based on the option I've chosen. So it means that I can draw a line at, for instance, now I want to draw a line at angle 45. So now the polar tracking helps me to track angle 45 based on my setting. Now, yeah, I'm sure that this line is at angle 45. I want to track angle 120. Okay, 120. 120 should be in the second quadrant. Okay, this angle 120. So my polar tracking has helped me to track angle 120. So I can draw a line at angle 120. Okay, all right. So now let's try. I want to track every 10 interval. Now 10. So activated 10 here. So now by doing this now, I'll be able to track every 10 interval. You can see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So I can draw a line. I want to draw a line at angle 180. So it's going to give me angle 180. So it's, okay, 180. This is 180 now. Okay, all right. I want to track angle 140. Okay, so 140. Oh, 140 should be in the second quadrant. Okay, so this is angle 140. All right. So you can track any angles. Now let's assume I want to track a particular angle and probably an will I say an odd angle, angle 23. You want to be able to track angle 23. You want to draw a line at angle 23. So what you do is click on this arrow beside polar tracking, go to your tracking setting and include an additional angle. Click on new. So the angle you need is angle 23. Okay. So by doing this, you'll be able to track angle 23. Okay. So yeah, you can see that 23 has been added to this list. So click on it to activate 23. So you can see now I can draw this line at angle 23. So that's just how to do it. All right. So I want to track angle 156. I'll go to tracking setting, new 156 is the new angle I want to track, which is not a standard angle. All right, so that makes 156 is going to appear in this list here. I'm going to activate it. 156. So 156 in the second quadrant. So now you can see now with this now, angle 156, I've joined the list and I can track it. So I can draw a line at angle 156. So polar tracking is very important. If you are doing any drawing, you might want to draw a line at a specific angles. With your polar tracking, it helps you to do that. Polar tracking helps you to do that. Now let's take our time and observe some other some other drawing aid that helps us with accuracy. Now here we have, okay, now I'm deactivating my polar tracking. There's another drawing aid called ISO draft. This ISO draft helps you to draw isometric drawings. Isometric drawings are on at specific angles. For isometric drawing, you want to draw as a mechanical engineer, you want to draw make a drawing in isometric drawing. So isometric drawing means that the lines are going to be at specific angles. So by using ISO draft here, then you can draw your lines at isometric angles. All right, so that's ISO draft. Then another drawing aid here is called show or hide line width. Now, show or hide line width, as its name implies, line width actually means line thickness. Line thickness. So with your show or hide line width, you can decide to show a line that you have done to be thick. You can make it visible as thick, or you hide it. Now, we are going to learn more about this show or hide line width when we look at the topic called layers. When we look at layers in AutoCAD, then you understand better what this show or hide line width, what it does. All right. Now there is this other tool here, dynamic inputs. What dynamic input does is that it's bringing an instruction prompt very close to your cursor. It brings an instruction prompt very close to your cursor. So sometimes you need this, sometimes you don't need it. Now, because most of the instruction here, now here you can see beside the cursor, I have specific first point, which is similar with what I have on the command line. Then here is telling me the coordinates of the points. Now you can see the value of the coordinate is moving. So dynamic input. So, but as a professional AutoCAD user, you might not actually need this extra information on your screen. So I'm just going to put it off. So most times I don't use it. I put it off. But if you're a beginner, you want to get you want to get more instructions about your tools. So you might decide to use your dynamic inputs. So it takes instruction closer to your cursor, then it shows coordinates of where you are. So as a beginner, if you feel you need it, you can make use of it. But if you are getting used to your command window actually gives you more instruction. So you might not use your dynamic inputs. All right, so these are important drawing aids that you will need in AutoCAD. So learn them, practice them, and you can use them when needed to make your drawing very accurate. Thank you for taking your time in joining me in this session. So I hope you have learned a lot. So I will encourage you to like and share this video, to encourage to support this work, or to tell your friends and your colleagues about what we do in this series. Also, I would like to see you in the next video where we'll be talking about layers in AutoCAD. See you then.